Okay, so let's start our lecture. So in my module, you have to cover the two parts of your courses. One is about uh, literature review, and second is about methods, research methods. It means methodology we have to cover. So yesterday I shared the video with you. I hope you have watched the video already.
Yes, doctor. Yeah.
Yep, watch already.
Okay. So a little reflection on the last lecture so that we can continue with that one. In the last lecture, I had discussed about the understanding that what is literature review and how the literature review is different from just summarizing. It's more about discussing. And when we talk about discuss, it's about identifying its strength and weaknesses. So that is important that how we understand that the literature review, we have to not only summarize the previous work, but to identify strengths and weaknesses. Further, in the last video, my focus was on that literature review is not, literature review is not reading the literature review of other articles, but literature review is reading the published articles or books or theses or dissertation or conference papers or newspapers somewhat, articles, blogs, websites, but these are the considered as a gray literature, but mainly academic literature is from published paper and somewhere thesis, books, chapters. These all are considered as a standard source of literature review. But when you have a papers, you have to read the papers and you have to cite the original articles. Then other part of the literature, what is written by the other authors, it can give you the direction for further research. Further means you have to find the other articles from that source. But reading the original article, which is published, which that is considered as doing the literature review in your thesis. Now, literature review is itself a chapter which you establish. But doing a literature review and writing a chapter two literature review are the two different understanding. We do literature review for research purpose. It means the review starts from introduction. It means finding the problem, you do literature. Developing your questions, you do literature. Support your studies, your claims, you do literature. Right, itself making a chapter two to develop your own framework, you do literature. And then you develop a literature review chapter to support your own framework. But doing a literature, what I'm talking, making a chapter two, I'm not talking about right now. And then you have methodology, whatever you are using, the sources for methodology, you also get this, you do literature on methodology. Or you do literature on methodology. It means that you also do literature. And when you have analysis to support your analysis, considering the benchmark, you do literature review. I mean, you do literature means literature review. Okay, so literature review means the literature is available, published work, and review means to go through with the work and finding the strength and weaknesses or unnecessary information which is relevant to your thesis. And then also discussion chapter, when you develop your when you have got your answers of your study to support your answers consistent with previous findings, you do literature. So it means that literature review is not only for chapter 2. Literature review is throughout your thesis from first day you start your teaching, your first day you start your research as a student, first day, your first job, you do literature. And when you close your last chapter, even that time you are also doing the literature review. The literature review will not leave you throughout your complete thesis. Chapter 2 itself, a literature review. That means that when you are making the thesis and you have your chapters over there, you have your, when introduction of the chapter 1, what you do, you come out with your problem statement and research questions that comes from the previous work as a gap to study, and this is the gap which you will only cover and has not been studied by previous people, any other researcher. That is considered as a contribution of your thesis or contribution of your degree. That what research you have done. So once you come with your problem statement, now once you have your research question, what are the variables related to your research question? What are the definitions of your research of your variable? What are the conceptual definition of your variable? What are the relationships among the variables in the previous work? So how you develop your conceptual framework, how you develop your study framework, how you develop your answer your research question through your finding, through your methodology. To do all these things, you have a structured format to write a literature review as a chapter 2. Normally, the typical part of your chapter 2 is considered as starts with the conceptual definition of your variables, explanation of your variables, relationship among the variable, and then second part is theoretical underpinning. What? Because you do your thesis as an academic thesis, within academic thesis, because it's your academic degree. So you need to do contribution something which is important in theory. So when you talk about something contribution in the theory, you should have a theoretical underpinning. So it means now you understand that which theory is more relevant to your study, meet your research objective, supports to your framework, because Amuman, the theoretical framework or conceptual framework are based on somewhere using a theory which explains you about the variables and its behavioral relations. Then, which theories are relevant to you? Which theories have been previously studied? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the alternative theories? Okay, then what is the existing current gap in literature? That is another heading you develop. After that, you come with your hypothesis development. That is about like how will you frame your variables as in the relationships. It means conceptual framework. And what are the relationship? When you develop the hypothesis through literature review, you understand one thing. Number one thing you understand, what is the relationship between X and Y? Okay. Number two, how is this relationship established? Are the relationship consistent, like significant or not significant in the previous work, or is there inconclusive gap? It means that some studies find the relation between X and Y. Some studies do not find the relationship between X and Y. For example, blended learning increase students learning motivation, your students achievement, academic achievement. So blended learning achieves students achievement. This is the relationship you want to find. So is this relationship in the previous work has been found significant, or significant means that yes, blended learning is contributing to students achievement, or is the relationship not significant or not consistent with the previous work, or is there any debate in the relationship of this variable? So it is considered as one purpose of developing the hypothesis. Second purpose is about understanding the direction of your hypothesis. Direction of your hypothesis. So over there, you understand that what is the direction? It means there is a significant positive direction or negative direction. For example, blending learning increase student achievement, academic achievement, or blended learning decreases or academic achievement, or somewhere it is increasing, somewhere it is decreasing. So in such situation, you are actually what you are doing, that you are coming with the inconclusive again relationship. So it means that direction is not clear. So doing this literature review, you come with hypothesis, relationships, and then other parts of this. So chapter 2 is typically consisting of these headings, which I already discussed to you. Okay, now we discussed it that why we do literature review. This is way to include discoveries, finding disagreement, to understand the research gap, major player. This is also very important. In the last lecture, I also had the video that major players is important, or authors on the topic. I gave the example of the one Technostress and the author of the Tarafdar. Okay, literature review is not book review. Book review is different from literature review. Maybe in book review, you have your opinions. When we discuss that, we do literature review because we are scholars. Okay. And then we discuss about that purpose of literature review and characteristics of good literature review. Now, characteristics means that trends you should find, strengths and weaknesses of the existing literature, potential gap. Okay. So now this was a topic that, okay, so how do I find the literature? In today's world, in the ever world, in this world, since the research started, the best source to find the literature is what? Yes, students. Where should we find the literature?
Academic library.
Academic
My library.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Academic library. This is the source where you can find the best literature, academic library. But today's world, we do not have a physical libraries only, but we have nowadays is digital libraries, and one source is digital libraries. Other than that, we also have the source is okay. Other source is 1 second. Huh? Okay. Digital libraries, I was talking about that one. So let's go with finding some literature sources we have to understand. And last class, I shared with you one. I shared one link with you for university lab, our library search. Information literacy program. Today is actually lecture on introduction to library, so that's not important. You can understand or you can learn any other time. I will tell you one important part of the introduction to library. Myself, other parts you can study, but you should attend later on. Because these workshops are available in future also. Information search skills, that is about library tools, we have to use it. But most important is 24 lecture is literature search, which is available to our library. So whatever I discussed today, and then you go through with your 24th lecture, it will help you a lot. So tomorrow is 23rd and then 24th. Okay, no problem. So I will shorten the lecture because you will also attend the library lecture as well. Okay. I will also be in the library workshop, and that attendance will be counted here. Okay. So all of you have registered?
Yes,
Yes,
doctor.
doctor.
Yes, Dr. Done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
So I will also come there. Okay. Now, how to do the literature search? So library will teach you a lot of things. Normally, library will teach you about, okay, if you go to UTM library, I go with the UTM library. So over there, they will teach you about the important thing that is called online databases. Other things they will teach you, but most important thing they will teach you about this one, that how to do use your proxy.
Doctor, sorry, may I ask whether this website must connected with the UTM Wi-Fi or anywhere can?
This website is actually you have to connect anywhere, but you have to use this proxy if you are outside of university. Okay. If you are outside of university, you have to use this source. Like you have to use this proxy.
Oh, okay.
They will guide you. They will guide you. Library will guide you. Don't worry. They say my name does not exist. That's not possible. There is some wrong. There is some problem right now. Let me check with library. Because 90% I am also in library university, so I get direct access. A proxy, maybe some problem. Maybe. But what they will guide you, you will go through with these sources, online resources, research resources, and Turnitin. But most important is online and research resources. Like they have this all things, Journal Finder, e-resources. Okay. They have a Scopus source and UTM publication. Okay. Okay. But see, I'm already logged in, so I come with the Scopus. Okay. So they will guide you. But what you need to do, you have to go to library. You have to search your paper using the database sources. So one important source is Scopus. Scopus is actually a metric-based database source. So actually, it's not actually only the database, but it's considered as a metric database. Metric database which have the journals listed in the databases, and then you can find the articles. For example, here you have to find like sources and search. These are the two different things. Sources means you have to find journal. If you want to publish your paper, you have to go to sources. Okay. If you want to publish your paper and you want to find the journal, you have to go to sources. Okay. For example, you want to find any journal based on subject area. Okay. Not particularly subject area, you can find. It takes time a little when it works outside. Okay, now for example, my subject area, I want to find the journal which are related to management, business management and accounting. This is my area, okay? And then I just go and then I find it. Okay. Apply. Now 2,286 journals which are according to my subject area. If I want more specific subject area, then I have to go. Even I can go from the display options. I want to find business management and accounting, miscellaneous, general management, industry relationship. And then I want to find management of technology and innovation, organizational behavior and human resource. Okay, strategy and management. These are the areas where I can find my papers. So I can find the journals. Okay, this is actually finding the journals. Okay, then I want to see that journals only. I can apply here. Not book series and things. Okay, these are the journals I can find. These are the best journals. These are the Scopus Index journal. That is considered what are the Scopus Index journal. So for example, this is the journal, Scopus Index Journal, Academy of Management Annals. And these are the quartiles. It means that 99 quartile means best quartile. Or you can go with first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and fourth quartile. Okay. Publication is a very different thing. This is not the part of our research methods. So our not much focus on this one. Then you want to find the papers. So you have to go to search. Where you can find abstract title, abstracts, article title, abstracts, and keywords. And then you find search, for example, blended learning. Last time I was using same one. So I continue with this example. Okay, 21,000 articles which are published with the name of blended learning. So now my focus is that I should have only articles. Only articles are 11,000. I can find here in Scopus and review. Because I'm teaching this thing to you because the library is not going to give you some of the things which are important as a researcher to do. They will tell you how to use the library sources, literature search. Definitely they will teach you again same thing to you also, but I'm going with very fast on that one. Okay, now 21,994 article I find. Okay, now I see the discipline which are relevant to me. I should focus on this one only, that is social sciences, business management. Or maybe I don't need to go for discipline because blended learning is anywhere. Okay. Now, for example, these are the articles. Some articles are available, some articles are not. Some articles are open access. This is the review article. For example, online and on-site teaching is a publication article. This article is implementing the flipped classroom model. Okay, for this article I want, for example. Then I have to go Scopus over there. This article is actually, we are confirmed that this article is actually Scopus Index Journal article. Because when you go for publication, you should consider such criteria because that is only means only Scopus Index Journal article you are citing. So now these are the article and then I want full text option or directly PDF. I can go to the source. It will go to the source and PDF will come. Okay, this is publisher. This publication is Springer Nature Journal. And this is the source where I can download article. So this is the one source. Normally you will go only Scopus, but only Scopus will not suffice the limit. There are the other databases you should be finding, which are some journal are indexed in Scopus, some journal indexed in Web of Science, and some journal are indexed in both of them. So Web of Science link is available at library, I think, or not. Because they used to have. JCR report is there. Okay. No, not measuring journal impact. These are the direct journal list. Journal list, master journal list, manuscript. This is for publication. You will use it. Springer journal suggested. These are the actually journal finders. And then you have you have online resources also. See, these are actually sources. Like Emerald is one of the source. IEEE, if you are from the computer, or if you are from those students in my class are also from FPTT, this is important for you. ProQuest is very good for finding thesis. Science Direct is a source of all journals which are Scopus, or not all journals, but there are the journals which are in the publication of Science Direct. Okay, then ACM Digital Library, Scopus already discussed to you, Springer Nature. Okay, we like now we have got the Springer Nature, but trial basis. Let's see we buy or not. But we don't have, unfortunately, is master journal list. I mean, Web of Science. So these are few they have given. There are others also. Okay. So what are the, say some of them are very known? I should suggest you to find the literature. Okay. Just give me 1 minute to do one important work. Those students who are in IPTK, actually, we also have our journal, Journal of Human Capital Development, and I am the editor chief of that journal. This is our IPTK journal we are submitting to. So I can do one small task, and I have to email one important thing actually. Okay, let's continue. Again, I share the screen with you. Okay, so we were discussing about other database sources to search literature. So there, the one is definitely Science Direct. Second one is Emerald. Okay, you can use it this one, Village, and we have then Taylor and Francis. Okay, and this is Science Direct, Emerald, Village, Taylor and Francis. There are some other databases where you can find, like for example, Gestor. Okay, and least one preferred is Google Scholar, but you can still use it for some other purposes. There are some good important things which you can find with Google Scholar also. So these are the most famous one, especially few of them. Okay, so let's like Science Direct. You can find of this one Science Direct Journal. Okay, you can go Science Direct directly, and you can find, for example, Blended Learning. Here you can find the article which are published under the databases of only Science Direct, not all other journals. So here you can see 71,326 articles. There are so many articles. Again, you have to shortlist and you have to find. For example, this article last class I showed it. There are other articles, you can go for that one. This one, we can go there and we can download. Okay, now this is about the finding the databases. Then you can find Emerald. Emerald Insight. Okay. And then you can search article, because in Scopus you will only find the article which are Scopus index. Here you can find the articles which are not even Scopus index, but the good journal also. Okay. Here you have to see your access options. Okay. So these are the article I can see only have content only content have access to. Right now I'm looking for limited one. Okay. This is one article. I want to go. I can find it here PDF. Okay. Then you have Willis. Okay. You're recording the video now? Oh, okay. Okay. Like here you can find the articles. Okay, then you have Taylor and Francis. Okay. To be honest, these are the best journals. One of them. Okay, this article is there. Full article, view PDF. Okay. Publisher is Routledge and Taylor and Francis is a publication group. So these are things. Then gestures, you can find also article. Okay. You can find over there. This is another Sewers. Okay, we have access through library also. Okay, so I hope that these links are clear to you that how to find the journal. So these are the where are the different sources, and the least one we will consider is Scholar Google, but we can also find some articles over there. But when you use Scholar Journal, try to use something very important because the engine is also very good, but you can find anything over there. So it's better that you should limit it to 2021. And then you should, for example, finding the latest article. Over here, you can see like Springer, Elsevier. Elsevier is Science Direct. Elsevier, Science Direct. Springer is itself publication source. I already told you Springer or not? Springer, I forgot. Okay. Document search. Hmm, hmm. Springer Open is all open access journals list where you can find. Okay, Springer even you can go through library. Okay. This is also important. Okay. Hmm. Okay, these links are clear to you. So you can find different databases, but once you go to your scholars also, you can find some other things like thesis, everything. But sometimes this engine is good, but they do not give all the very good articles to you.
Yeah, doctor, sometimes we use Science Hub to download as well.
Sorry?
We also use Science Hub, SCI-HUB.
Sci-Hub is actually is not a database, but it is actually unethical way of finding the
Yes,
articles which you do not have access. Okay.
Correct.
If you
Just a
are
side
within
note.
UTM territory, you cannot use Science Hub. You cannot
Yeah.
download the articles.
It will block you, yeah.
But then you have to go for proxy, and in many countries, science if you use Science Direct, you have to use VPN also. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is I cannot teach you because when especially I'm in the recording session.
Fully understood.
Okay, these are like IGI global journals and this thing. ERIC is about the size. SagePub. Sage. Sage is also. Okay. Okay, so there are many databases you can go with that one. So these all sources you should use to find your articles, not only few. And you will find some duplicate articles also. So how we do it now, we understand that. Okay, so number one thing is that how to find the article. First, pick your topic. Broad enough there to be material and but narrow enough for relevant articles. This is very important that in your thesis, like blended learning right now, when I was searching, I find 25,000 articles, 71 articles. So yes, because it is a little uh, topic which you have to use as a very specific article journal, but try use the sources which have, if you want to search with the limit one, blended learning and student achievement. Now article will limit it. Okay. Or I can put it like this. In Scopus it works. I don't know in Sage it works same way or not. No, it doesn't work in that way. Maybe. Periscopus we can use this way, which is it limits your article a specific word to search. Yes. When you use inverted commas, then limits to your search, like 169 results, very limited. Where the particular word has been used in abstracts or title or keywords. Then you find these specific articles. So first you have to do searching broad enough. For example, when I just, this is very narrow. So I have to put it little broad, then I put it articles, then I put it years. So in this way, I can also sort down my article to limit and I can find articles. Once I find with these articles, now second thing is that look for your literature. For most will you want to look at scholarly articles, databases we have done. Go to article databases. I already told you so many articles, scholarly database, okay? Do not go for your articles which are newspaper or these articles because you are in academic journal, so you should avoid it. Okay, do a search on your topic, okay? And find relevant article. Now, once you have articles with you, so when you go to your databases, for example, one example we were using like this one, we can also go. Not this one specifically, but we are using blended learning. And when I come with these articles, okay, like there are research articles, not book reviews, okay, and I put it publication dates, not very old because I don't want to go in the history of publication. I just go on. Okay. So I find it here. Blended learning approach, less for profession students. Now, first thing you should do is always go through, read the abstracts. Okay. If you find these abstracts are relevant to you, then you should go in the next step to find the article in detail. Look at the author's new research. I always say that first step, always scan the articles. Scan means go through with the abstract, read the abstract. If you find abstract means this topic is relevant to you. For example, when I go with this abstract, I find that the concept of combination of online phase has become popular. In blended learning was used in 19 was used for 19 in-service teachers during the summer. And okay, the result shows yes, this topic is relevant for me. Then what I do, I download this article, I keep in my databases. Then I go through with the article. Now this is suppose the article I am going through. So it's better for me that I should go only, first I should read introduction somewhat. Then I should be finding, after introduction, if article is relevant to me, I should be reading the conclusion and contribution. I find, yes, this article is relevant. Now put it in your important database. Database means folder, which you can find the important article which you need to study. That is, we call it like a scanning of your of the articles, because you have to find first. Very first days you have to find articles. So many articles you find. You should not download all. You just go with the articles, and these articles which are relevant, you should put in your databases, or maybe you can prepare the Excel sheet with this article. There is also one more better format, which we call it download articles with the Mendeley. There is also one library workshop, which we call it Mendeley. Please attend that workshop also. Reference management workshop, Mendeley. Okay. Library offers the workshops time to time. I don't know when is the upcoming next one, Mendeley. You can also note down this calendar because this is also important for you. Let me check. Maybe library has announced. Okay. First, Yes. Wow, tomorrow. No, you can attend next time, okay? Because tomorrow I cannot give you the time for Mendeley. Otherwise, I will not be able to complete my topics, okay? You can attend next any other time, but keep searching in your databases, or otherwise once next time any announcement come, I will share with you on the group, okay? Because I already told you about that we have to cover the topics. So I'm short of time for that one. So now my topic, I was coming to you that how you find, once you go through with your articles, when you come with this databases and these things, once you have your papers with you, and then always read the abstract, then if abstract is relevant, then you should go for the reading the papers like introduction and conclusion, and you find this paper is relevant, then put it in your databases, and you should develop some database management also. Like database management, either you can use it with the Mendeley or you can use it like an Excel sheet where you put the article name, author name, and article link, so that it's helpful for you to follow in the future, because these articles you will keep continuing and you will have a large number of articles to search. Once you are settled with your articles, like you have got the large number of articles, now it's time that you should do something with this article. So in that stage, I'll suggest that okay, now this is the article, for example, we are using. Oh no. I put some article over here. This is also. Suppose this is the article I want to read. So the article, the first thing I should be reading is about like what the author has done. Then you should understand that how author carve out this with gap, what material it has been used. And then if you understand this article is relevant to you, now it's better that you should develop the taxonomy of your article. We call it taxonomy. Okay. How to read the article? Author's new research. In this article, what is author's new research? Can you suggest me what is author's new research? How can I find the author's new research in this article?
Usually the first name, main author.
Number one thing, abstract. This is author's new research. Like what author does? Author did that community problem in Western China transportation program. Method use mixed method. By using mixed method, the author come with these results. And this is the, now author come that older women are the finds that Operation Sustain has delivered out of the residents were mostly adult, but with limitation residents using TVTP were satisfied with command the transportation service. So this is the finding of this can inform existing rural VTP on how to evaluate there. So this is something which author has done. This is new contribution by the author within the domain of particular area. That is, we call it like evaluation of voluntary transportation program that support age-friendly rural. Or maybe I put it example of blended learning. I also downloaded article for you right now. No control. I don't want to give control to anyone. No one can control. Okay, this is we were learning. So this is the authors, like what authored is descriptive cross-sectional study was conducted using this. Statistical analysis was performed and results. This is the contribution of the results. Okay, we can find it from the abstract. And then you should read this article, then find it contribution in the final results. And most importantly, you find in discussion that what author has done. Okay. So you do article for various purpose, but which you can use for developing your own literature review as a chapter. I suggest you that you should be developing your taxonomy. I'm coming to taxonomy, but now see. Number one thing, you should read author's new research. This is author's complete new research. And this is the article you should be using as a citation for your own study, if you find relevant. So you can find it this article as a source that supports your document or your study. Now, not only you should look this one, there is other thing you should look, like there's literature review. Okay. Now, author has also used the literature review. Okay. This is the article the author has used. So you can see which author has used the article as references. This will give you the direction for the similar articles or similar studies which have been published and useful for you. Maybe effects of blended learning or education nursing meta-analysis. This article is relevant. Okay. So I can find this article. Now here Scholar is easy. I told you some databases in Scholar Engine is very good. You can quickly find these articles. Okay. Now this article we can also find relevant to our study. It gives you the new direction. Then read original article, again read the literature, and there will be the time you will find the article which are relevant and cited by many studies and similar article. In this way you will come with this thing like key authors, which are the main authors, and normally you should cite who had they cited in the bibliography. This will give clues to the important events in the field and who are the major players and scholars. Okay. Once you have do this thing, then you should do more analysis, like what does the community of scholars have to say. Now you will find maybe some articles you will find in the when you read so many articles, you will find that there are the two school of thoughts. One school of thought is about the supporting of blended learning. Another school of thought is not satisfied with the existing blending learning system and saying that the student achievement is not possible using the existing blended learning, and they are not in support of blended learning. They say that either you should go remote learning, or you should go for complete online, or you should go for complete physical learning. So maybe there is a two school of group. So you will find that some authors are in the favor of this one, some authors are not. They are the community of scholars. Then you will find the societies, communities also on blended learning. And then there is discussion, debates. Then you should go to conferences, over the relevant conferences where you find this discussion. They will the experts debates. This is the way you develop your understanding about your topic. Okay, and what are the findings, like what consistent, not consistent, I already told you, and missing from research. And by reading this all, most important, you will find that blended learning has been discussed, but one thing is missing, or commonly that people have missed, that is maybe the right use of technology. For example, blended learning has been debated, but the right use of technology is still the questionable, which we should do. Like how we can use the right use of blended learning. Like recently, I'm doing my project, one research grant, where we are also working on the blended learning, and we are using that, which are the optimized immersive immersive technological tools most suitable by the departments. It means that blended learning, when we are using the immersive technology, the technology which is we consider like the augmented reality, maybe is not suitable to the business or social students, but is more suitable to the health and health science and medical practitioners. Maybe mixed reality is more suitable to the engineering students, or maybe the virtual reality is more suitable to the hospital sectors. So maybe, so we are studying this thing and how this blended learning with the immersive technology tool, which is including augmented reality, virtual reality, can be helpful for increasing the students' skills acquisition, so that these skills can be utilized in their industry when they graduate. So what is the right way of optimal use of using the technology, optimal use of blended technology? So this is I'm personally doing this research. So we are working with this thing. So we find this in the area that this gap is not fine, and we should be working on that one. Okay. Okay. Once you do analysis, now it's time to write. But once you do analysis, I suggest you that you should develop the taxonomy of analysis. And how to develop the taxonomy? Let me find. Okay. This is also going to be your assignment. Okay. So before we continue with this one, we can have a 10-15 minutes break. Okay. Then I tell you that how to use it, this one, and then I will tell you use of AI in literature review or technology, and then I will go for writing the literature review. Okay. So let's have a 15 minutes break, because we then continue the lecture.
Okay, Doctor.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Doctor.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, now first thing we have to understand, this is also going to be your assignment. Whenever you do this work, it's better that you should develop this taxonomy. Taxonomy template is with you. What you need to do, like you should find the author, title of journal, what the problem is being addressed there, any variables they have used, what sample size they have used, what is the unit of analysis they have done, which country the research was conducted, design, quality was quantity, analytical strategy, key findings, remarks. By this way, you will be in the position to sort out the problems which have been commonly addressed, common variables you will find of your study, normal, and then when you go for your methodology, you will understand that what is the normal sample size is being conducted, a type of study is being done, either normally quality or normally quantity, unit of analysis normally, what type of people, which kind of countries the mostly researches are conducted. So in this way, you are in the better position to develop your frame and your study. There are also some software tools. For example, to develop this one, there is also elicit.com you can use. Record is going on. Okay, like elicit.com you can use. Okay. For example, ask if you want to generate this thing, so you can use this one. You can summarize the concepts. So, for example, see, this is a very good version you can use. For example, these are the example of two papers. When you do this thing, you can do like this thing, automatically the software will do it for you. For example, if I add paper, upload paper, this paper I find. Now see, it is helping you directly. So you can use the support of this software and you can add the columns here, for example. Okay. It's also you have to log in and you have to update it. Problem later on we can do with this one. I have to make a new sheet, then I can find it. More upload with that. Okay. For example, I want methodology. Okay. I want measure variables, recipient count. Okay. Now this is limited because you have to update it. Okay. This is, you have to use this paper, methodology, measured variables. Okay. But this is version available. You can buy, even upgrade it yourself, or you can go for the Shopee and you can buy this version. So available for you and you can use it. Otherwise, you can do it manually. Up to you. Okay. So this is the way, the best way you should do. So you have an assignment also on like this you have to do. Now, second word is, once you have finalized all your data, all your literature review, now it's time to write. What am I going to write? To help you approach manageable fashion, the section addresses following topic: exigency statement, exigency, thesis statement, organization of your thesis, introduction, conclusion, and citation. Exigency means the urgent need of your topic. Whenever you are writing, especially problem statement or first part of your literature review, and or I would say that every part of your thesis, there should be the concept of exigency. Exigency means immediate requirement related to your topic. This direct focus on concepts, variable, and immediate ideas. How do you find with this one? For example, this is one article. We can see determinant of nursing satisfaction with blended learning. Over here, you have to see that introduction directly moving in the repeat evolving landscape of higher education, university globally are embarrassing virtual learning environment, learning to restoration, blending learning manifest in various form, web courses, web enhancement in the context of nursing education. Now see, urgency. Over here, you can directly find that they directly come very quickly to the specific area, which is they are talking about the nursing education, and they discuss about it. Definitely in paper, you have a very written, but the concept that you should be writing, the concept of exigency. It is not like that you are writing long and there is nothing discussed in your topic. For example, if you go to thesis and dissertation request, okay, now you are writing over here, for example, blended learning. Okay, find some thesis. Only dissertation and thesis we want. Okay, this is like we have one thesis. Okay, and this is we have. Okay, now we have, this is another thesis. Okay, now this is the title: Using Diffusion of Innovation Theory to Examine the Perceived Attributes of Blended Learning, a survey of teacher and administration pre-K-12 school. Okay, we find it. This is acknowledgement. This is the content. We can see how they have used this literature, and this is relevant. For example, chapter 1, chapter 2, we can find in both ways. This is definitely longer time to write, but how long? Okay. Over the last decade, the schools have been pursuing instructional technology at unprecedented rate, and half of the schools in the United States have had a device of every student that doesn't educated predicted by the 2020. All classroom accurate would have a device for every student. A school is considered to be one of one when the number of personal technology devices equal the students. However, increased access of technology in 2000, education department developed the technology, and then we just go through with this idea of that one. Okay. What do you think? Looking at the first attempt of this problem, do you find the concept of urgency is here? Yes or no? Yes, students. Do you find the concept of urgency, exigency? Yes or no?
No,
No,
doctor.
no, really.
No? Okay, let's look at another thesis. Blended learning improve student engagement. Okay. Now we see this one that they have discussed all the multiple innovation within 21st century were composed to technology challenge, the lack of school engagement, a digital divide. During the closure, investigated were blended learning, problem statement, the main problem is lack of student engagement. Okay, here you find the urgency, concept of exigency in this thesis, or no?
Yes.
Relatively, second one is better in terms of concept of exigency, because over there we can find in the thesis 2, we can find that they have developed in a nicely way the problem, especially problem statement. Okay, but in thesis 1, yes, we can find, but still it's not. If I see paper, okay, rural communities often have access to healthcare essentials as development continues age. Then I go with that one.
Doctor, sorry, can
Transportation is fundamental. Access in healthcare in United States 5.8 is there. This is the most rural issues. Okay, over here you can find the concept of exigency or not. In this article. And even I see the literature, this article is lacking with the literature, no problem. Okay, literature, blended, flipped, or hybrid learning models, discussing the shift from brick and mortar, moving from the literature, feature research, establish, further research is there. Then there are several, then it comes with the theoretical framework. These are the theories of theories of blended learning. Do you find the relevancy and exigency in this thesis?
Sorry, doctor. Can
Do
I
you find
identify a problem statement in with this tool?
with by looking at this thesis, we can find there is a concept of exigency. Exigency means, immediate requirement related to your topic. Is there any response of the thesis in writing, especially because writing the literature in terms of problem statement, in terms of concepts, that you should have a direct discussion on your topic rather than moving round and round and coming to the key points. Because in this way, you will lose the understanding or the very value of your write-up. If your thesis is 50,000 words, it does not mean that you have to write everything. You have a lot of material, but which should be relevant to your work. If it is irrelevant, then you are doing just nothing but wordiness. Being wordiness is nothing but being related to your work is important. Okay. Then this is very important, that thesis statement. Often an argument and then support and claim. Writing the thesis or writing any statement is very important. Like look at this thesis or maybe paper here. If I see this paper, I say, see, rural communities often do not have access to healthcare and other essential services, but still contain valuable residents who need this support to their health and well-being. Now, this is the statement he is writing, and then he is supporting. You get my point? But as developed countries age and more young people move from rural to rural-urban, will decrease in population size but increase in age. Also now supporting this document, this demographic shift will result in disproportionately high prevalence of older adults with poor health, chronic disease, and disability who require access to healthcare and other essential services to support their health, mobility, independence, autonomy, and well-being. Now listen. Thesis statement offer an argument about the literature. It may do by combination any of the following. For example, offer an argument and critical assessment of the literature. Now you are giving some argument in this study. You can find, yes, there is an argument, like this is the problem, or maybe the literature is discussing on this matter, or another way is like overview of current scholarly conversation. So this one is more about scholarly conversation the person is doing. This is a scholarly conversation regarding the rural communities. Okay. Now come to next. Transportation is fundamental for accessing health and other essentials. However, rural communities often have no valuable or affordable transportation option aside from driving. Shit. Transportation is fundamental. However, rural often have no available or affordable transportation option aside from driving oneself or finding rides. This is what? This is an argument, or we can say a gap to discuss a problem. Now, author is speaking, rather, as a literature review is not like you are summarizing all other work and putting it one side. Literature review is your own voice. This is the problem you discuss in your own way. This is we consider as a thesis statement. There should be the thesis statement, often an argument and critical assessment of the literature. Now this person has developed an argument that rural communities often have no available or affordable transportation option aside from driving oneself or finding rides. It's an argument that these claiming that rural communities have no available transportation or affordable transportation. Now we have to justify. Transportation challenge in rural communities cause inequity with accessing healthcare. Now this is relating with this relationship. In the United States now, support. In the United States, more than 5.8 million have delayed medical care because they do not have access to transportation. Can you see this? Very nicely written. Like offering an argument and critical assessment of the literature. The best way to write is like using the thesis statement. Your examiners, your examiners will read that where is your thesis statement. It means where is the argument, and whenever you argue, what is the support of your argument. Or another way is like provide an overview of current scholarly conversation. You can go with another way also. So this is also important. Like this is the problem statement. This problem statement you can see in thesis also. The purpose of this current study.
Doctor, what is the difference between motivation and argument?
Yeah, argument and support. Argument means you are talking something related to your topic. Discussion, which requires, something you need research. Actually, you are putting a problem over here. Argument is like putting the problem. But whatever you say, you should have a support, evidence. That we call it thesis statement. Topic plus claim. It means that whenever you are saying argument, you should support with some literature. Offer an argument and critical assessment of the literature. We call it topic plus claim. So try to use this way to write your thesis statement. Like main educational problem of the study was a lack of student engagement during COVID-19 for 2020 school years. Some school transit from remotely only to hybrid involving remote and in-person. During the pandemic, student engagement in elementary school was complex and multifaceted challenge. It was long-standing concern. The shift to remote and hybrid learning model significantly altered traditional classroom. This is argument now. These multifaceted challenges causes both opportunity and obstacles for student engagement. Now, this is a scholarly debate, but still he is just arguing, no claim. It became more evident, critical in March 2020 when United Schools shut down to slow spread of coronavirus. The lack of in-person interaction contribution to social isolation among elementary students, both academic and emotional engagement were impacted. Now this is developing the problem. The shutdown forced millions of American students and teachers to engage in remote learning. Very first time teachers had to adopt their teaching method to keep students engaged. The wide implementation of virtual learning format specific to blended learning system, synchronized, asynchronized, which effectively influenced student engagement, was limited by number of principal teachers with skills and professional development. Now he is speaking, but no support. This is called poor statement. What he is speaking is not being nicely supported by literature. How can you say that that was limited by number of principal teachers with the skills and professional development? You need to support your document with the scholarly argument. This is you are actually arguing, but you are not giving the claim. It means critical analysis of your literature. So what we write, we need to support because we are scholars. So we need the evidence. A hybrid school increased throughout the pandemic. The influence of virtual learning from displayed itself from various students' outcome. Now this is only wordiness, but I cannot see the support. The merging period of reorganizing, re-identifying principal, teachers, and student need came into existence. Again, it's a claim, but no support. There was a need to ensure that learning continued to do. Discuss Singapore long-term investment in building schools, home technological infrastructure, developing school leader capacity for technology, and developing students. The response to rolling school closure with the United States, no. The support is not justified because what he is supporting with the Singapore study and his problem is in America is not relevant. Number two thing is that the support which he is using the paper is not about discussing about the student engagement, but it's more about the infrastructure development. The response to rolling school closure within the United States created unprecedented activity in the online learning space. Now he's jumping from one idea to another idea. Unlike Singapore, long investment was not prevalent in the United States. Now there is nothing to discuss with this one. Educator policymakers expressed concern about student engagement through remote learning and the ability to read. The move towards remote learning has created question and highlighted the importance of meaningful remote engagement that leads to learning. Now jumping again with the argument to the students' learning. Student engagement remained a leading factor in education throughout the pandemic. Now he's giving some support. A support of Caliph, similar to previous studies, revealed that the various factors influenced students in online learning during the pandemic, including infrastructure factors, cultural factor, digital inequality, and threat to digital privacy. Now he's coming somewhat relevant to writer. Parental concern, norms, and traditional emerge as other factors. Now these talking about the factors which affect student engagement. But how these factors are related to student engagement is also questionable. Caliph now is repeating studies. Caliph, then Caliph. It means that one paper is supporting the complete debate. Not satisfactory. Perception, presence of quality of content, more essential student engagement. In summary, student engagement in elementary, now we finish it. So if I am the examiner, I consider, okay, if you are the examiner, how many marks you would give him for problem statement of 10 out of 5, 6, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10? Or 1, 0, how many marks you give?
5.
5. Good. Poor, and the way, by the way, 5 only. Yes. Any other student? How many marks would you give? Lim. Mustafa.
So, Doctor, may I ask if the problem statement is based on what our research question or
Our
the
research
objective?
question is based on problem statement.
Or our research question is based on the problem statement? Okay.
Problem statement. Problem statement is something which requires come out as a gap. Requires you to do the study.
I see. Okay.
And it should be supported by literature. Because we are not going to believe you until you have a evidence. Okay? That's why we are learning literature review. Okay?
Okay, Doctor.
So thesis statement, now you do it. Okay? Okay. I do not get the feedback from many of the students because once you do not get the feedback according to recordings, I consider them as absence. Okay? Okay. Okay, 2 minutes. Let me download the attendance sheet as also for you. Remain silent in this class is just considered absence. Okay. Okay, 1 minute. I am just downloading the attendance sheet.
One more, Doctor. For the reference, is there any specific format? Like, should we use the APA style form or Harvard?
Harvard. I will come to this one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. SMPS.
Oh, Doctor, may I ask one question?
1 second. Okay.
Okay, can I have
Excel sheet I'll
question?
provide with you.
Sorry, doctor, can I ask one question?
Yes.
If we want to write a argument, how many evidence that we need to write to support
There
the
is no,
one argument?
there is no specific number which we can say, but depends, like if you are the master student, normally we consider that you have gone through with 100, 200 articles. You come with a
Mhm.
taxonomy of 30, 40 papers, then you are in the position to write your thesis statement. But if you are the PhD, then even hundreds are not enough.
Okay, understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then you have this is example. You can go, like for example, we can see with this one. The integration of augmented reality and virtual reality in higher education has been widely discussed in the literature, with research emphasizing their potential to enhance the student engagement and learning outcome. However, existing studies largely focus on their technical implementation and fail to address how this technology align with pedagogical objectives and student-specific needs. Okay, now what is this is a logical argument we are developing. This is a statement like we are claiming a scholarly debate. It's not claim plus support literature, but scholarly debate. Okay, moreover, while AR and VR applications shown to improve interactive learning, there is limited empirical evidence regarding their long-term impact on student critical thinking collaboration support. This gap underscored the need of comprehensive studies. These address both the immediate and sustained effects of immersive technology on learning environment, aligning with broader goals of digital transformation in education. Okay, another example is like research on leadership style in hybrid work environment highlight the growing importance of transformation and servant leadership in fostering employee engagement and productivity. However, much of the literature overlook the role of emerging digital tool in mediating in the leader follow relationship and adopting leadership approach to virtual context. Now support. Furthermore, while hybrid work environment shown to enhance flexibility and work-life balance, studies often neglect their potential accelerate communication breakdown and long-term questions. Addressing this gap is crucial. Okay, what you see important is that there is a very limited literature review. Papers are cited. You know why? Because we need to see your own language, own words. Everything you say that the Mr. ABC is speaking, Mr. XYZ spoke, Mr. NN spoke, Mr. Smith spoke, Miss Nagian is there. No, everything is not there. You have to write in your own way. This is called thesis statement, and then support with the critical argument. Now this is the initial that one. Otherwise the another way, like you can support with one of the studies discussing this one and what they have discussed, then you put your own argument, then you do. Most important in your complete write-up, we want to see your voice. Where is the researcher voice? If researcher voice is not visible, is not audible, it means that the research has done nothing but only that the copy paste from the previous work. It has not done critical literature. Okay, now organization of your thesis. There are the 5 common approach to organizing the body of your paper or body of your chapter. Normally, I talk about chapter 2. This is the most common is topical. Topical is most common. Second one, sometimes we use distance to close. Debate is we use normally when we have the historical article, phenomenological studies, then debate. Chronological is about the historical article papers, history of industry AI, IR4. Then chronological and seminal study normally we do in social sciences. Okay, now topical. Topical means topic by topic. This is the easiest and the nicest way and my recommended approach for you, that you should do topical, because right now you are the new researcher. So topical is more suitable to you. Okay, what we do, break down the fields into subfields and subjects and approaches. For example, if I talk about the blended learning, so how can you break down the field and subfields? Any idea?
how to break down what? Sorry, Doctor. Okay.
Any example you can give?
Right
Uh,
into the tools that we can use and the type of blended learning.
Now let's see. We had one thesis. Let's see its literature breakup. Blended learning and learning system. They put it like this. Now see blended learning and learning system, subheading historical movements, over the views, then defining blended learning, then professional development, purpose of professional development, components, leadership of blended environment, student engagement, effectiveness, indicator of blended learning. So this is topical or not?
yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
100% is a topical, but it's also mixing with topical with not distance to close, but is moving with chronological also, somewhat, in some part, but mainly it's topical. Okay. Break down the fields into subfields, subject areas, approaches, discuss each subsection individually, sometimes with critics of each. It means that now blended learning, there are the three modes of blended learning. Then you talk about the different three modes, and within three modes, each mode is different separately. For example, flip mode. With flip mode, you come with the critics of the flip mode. Flip mode is this, so. And what are the critics of flip mode? Then you come to the another heading, then you come to the another heading. You break down your ideas within this way. Most useful for organizing the large body of literature that does not have two studies. Most important or clear chronological development. So I suggest you that in your PhD or master's, blended learning, topical is the most common and most useful approach. Okay, like three important ideas of this will have received attention. A, B, C. A has been approached by from two perspectives, F and G. The most important development in terms of B have been discussed. This thing C has been important area of this field. Okay, distance to learning is in such a way that where you come with the large body of literature, come to the specific. Okay, a type of topical organization which organized from the relevance to current research. Starts by describing studies with general similarities, current, and ends with the studies most relevant to the topic. Sometimes we also do like this, like maybe this is a combination of blended learning as a topical and distance. For example, blended learning and learning system, historical movement. See, now it's coming as a journal and then coming to this one, defining, and then it comes to professional development, very specific idea. Then it discusses component and resources of professional development. Then it comes to leadership in blended learning. So it's actually coming distance to close also. It's not like this is only coming with the topical, but there is no one suggested method you can use. There is a combination of one or two. So now distance to close and with the topical, but not all the time you use topical. Maybe use only distance to close. A typical topical way to organize your thesis: studies guided by general similarities to current research and end with studies most relevant to specific tool. Specifically useful when you are doing the methodological research. It means that the methods which have been discussed, like previously the X method was being used in history, and what is the journalist discussion of that method. Within that method, a particular variable is more discussed. Then you come in that way. For example, method M, slightly similar to current research, addresses this thing, drawing upon method and more similar to current research can have. This study applies the procedure used in method model O, more similar to current research to this one. These are some examples we can use it. They are especially methodological approaches. Now, this is a difficult type of research and very difficult to handle. That's why we say you that you people should not go with debate. A debate is a form of topical approach with a chronological component, but emphasize various standard of research in which various proponents of various models openly criticize one another. For example, a debate on blended learning theories. Okay. Now, if we talk about the blended learning theories, so there are the numbers of theories available. Suppose if I go. Okay, this is the chapter, but right now it doesn't have access. With this one. Theoretical foundation for blended learning. This type of literature, if you see, the practice of blended learning needed to guide it by learning theory, other relevant, then it comes to the topic, the concept of blended learning, then it discuss, okay? Then the rationale for emergence and development of blended learning, psychological rationale. Now it's a form of debate, but still it's a topical. He has used topical approach. Blended learning attends to both commonalities and individuality of students, but it's coming with some discussion. Characteristics of common traits. Still not debate. This article is not using the debate. Maybe I can use the word debate itself. Debate. Or sometimes you don't find the paper anywhere. Go to Google Scholar, see this corner. If it is PDF there, you can directly go there. This is also the shortcut. Yeah. This is a sort of debate. See. Still it putting some chronological order, but still is a debate. Another type of topical approach, see topical with chronological components. Now it's a very good example. Now it's coming in the article like topical mix e-learning with traditional learning. Then there is something debate. Perhaps the most common blend discussed in research publication concerns the mixing of learning. Traditional learning is probably middle definition, not least because when in learning, nutritionally define the Department of Education skills debate, providing a list rather than the definition is interesting point or debate is going on. As soon as principal population position is saying, then mixing online learning with face-to-face, now heading, then mixing medias is discussing all about, then mixing context. Heading, but heading within heading, there is a debate. So we have to go in such a way. But for you, again, I suggest you debate normally is the way of doing debate is normally not recommended in the PhD or master thesis at your stage or in your dynamics. Debate is usually for the experts when you write your article which demand the debate. So try not avoid to debate. Like the three have been two distinct approaches this problem. The first model posits this one. The second model argues with this one and this reason. Instead of second model, third model should be used as a debate. Very easy. Chronological history over the years. For example, this type of research demands not in your field, but usually in the fields of purely social sciences. Those who do the study on historical development. For example, history of Malaysia history, very simple, Malaysian history. Like when Malaysia history, when we discuss the first Malaysia was there, or Malacca history, historical moments of the Malacca, then you will come with the Portuguese, British region, then Malaccan War, Then it comes with the development of Malacca. Then a separation of Malacca before separation, Singapore, Malaysia, Malacca, Malaysia. Then a territory, straits, characteristic straits of Malacca. Then you come with the development of Malacca as an independent state. Then you come with the Malacca as a developed tourism city, Malacca itself. Okay, then digital implementations and and movements of the Malacca as of today. So now this is chronological because you force yourself to put it as a date by date. You cannot change the dates. When you history is there, age of between 18th century to 1850, 1851 to 1900 century, 1900 to 1950, 1951 to 2000, after 2000 millennials and 21st century. Like this, you have to be forced to develop yourself as a chronological studies, not relevant, mostly not relevant to your studies. Okay. Okay, now seminal study, when the topic is of very extremely important study, a detailed description is required, and you have to go a particular debate on this discussion. This is, we call it a seminal or seminal study studies, not done by you, but normally when there are high discussion. For example, when coronavirus was introduced, many seminal studies were performed, because over there the debate how to develop the antidote of virus. There were the numbers of seminal studies. Okay. Introduction, how to write the introduction of literature, indicate scope of the literature, provide some background of the topic, demonstrate the importance and need for research, make a claim. There should be some gap, an overview of the gap, the discussion. And okay, this is the example given to you. You can read later on. Conclusion, then every chapter has introduction, every chapter has conclusion, remember, in your thesis. Except chapter 1 doesn't have conclusion. Chapter 1 has, organization of thesis. Remaining all chapters, you have a conclusion or summary of your so summarize the main finding of your review. Like this paper, this chapter discusses about the conceptual meaning of blended learning with its development over the years. With the pace and later, this chapter proceeds with the understanding and conceptual explanation of the variables used in the studies include the types of blended learning, and finally the chapter concludes with the development of the framework and supporting its hypothesis. Okay, and next chapter the study will go for that measurement of this framework. So summarize the main finding of your review, provide closure, explain so what. Now what you have to do. So that this chapter discusses for that and feature for about it, and connection to the current study. The study with this about this one. Okay. UTM, we use Harvard for referencing, Harvard style. I have this guideline for you. Harvard. You know citation, concept of citation?
Yes.
Yes.
Citation means you have to cite the paper, pre-published previous paper. So in publishing previous published paper, how you do the Harvard citation is important. Okay. I will share with you all the material. UTM, IPTK, research methods, then we have Harvard reference guide. Wait, it's available somewhere, but we can directly download from here. Okay. Harvard referencing style, introduction to citation. An in-text citation refers to a reference that you made within the body of your text. This is called in-text citation. You know the concept of in-text citation? For example, this article, in-text citation, because this is a chapter. So they have a different style to cite. I tell you about any other chapter. Okay, this one. These are in-text citation all. These are considered as in-text citation, okay? And there is at the end of the thesis, all paper which are in-text citation is performed. These are considered as a full references, okay? So there are two ways to cite your paper. One is called narrative, second is called parenthetical, okay? Narrative means you are using the author name and writing the work. For example, this one. Any narrative citation I can show you. These all are in-text citation as a, right now I can see all are parenthetical. But narrative, anyone narrative has used, try to use both. Sometimes people only use parenthetical. This is more parenthetical. Nothing is narrative. Wow. Okay, we can see here. Okay, this is narrative. See, for example, Philip and Paulos study. So when you start the paragraph with the author's name, so this is called narrative. But when you close with the brackets, this is called parenthetical. So normally narrative means when you write something with the author's name, and parenthetical when you write yourself something and you cite that source. But the way of writing is different. Narrative, see, if you are using narrative style, you are using the like first author's first author name and A-N-D, and then second author name, and then this is incorrect. You cannot use this way. You cannot use apostrophe s. This is incorrect citation, okay? Then you have to use bracket 2019. Same citation you are using as a parenthetical, then Phelps, and then this one and this style of and you will use, and comma you will use before that. So this is the style you have to follow as a narrative. If you have to learn this thing, but then you don't need to worry, because with reference management software, now these things you can do, but at least you should know. Now this is the introduction, how you should use direct referencing, referring to an author in a sentence. You should like Palmer 1998. Indirect referencing, this is bracket. So it is also called parenthetical and narrative. It's the same way. Direct referencing, indirect referencing. If you're using direct code, always use the bracket. See, and at the end of the code, you should use the page number 23, 24. If you are using the quotes means the exact lines of the person. Copy paste. Like in practice, surveyed market works is a bracket. Authors with more than one publication in the same year, then you have to use the years. Like if same author, same name, then you have to use AB. Citing author with name, then you have to use ND. In-text referencing on electronic documents, you should use this one, like this one, conclusion, para number this, okay? So this is the complete diagram, in-text citations is there, then you can come complete here. This is complete. Harvard referencing style, okay? Where you have to, your important is introduction to citation, introduction to referencing. References means full paper, how you should write full papers, okay? On books, articles. This is for your learning, but if you are still confused, you can use this tool, Scriber citation. Okay, here you can use citation generation. Okay, citation generation, and do they have Harvard or not? Harvard citing 12th edition. Okay, what you need to do, for example, you have this article. C. Control C here. You can put here. You can cite here. Now it has done for you. Harvard style. Parenthetical and narrative also bought. Now full references, go copy to clipboard. You can put it as a Word document here.
Dr.
This
Sir,
one.
can you return the steps? Can you replay?
C. Go to, this is the Scriber, you go, okay? Only search word Scriber, SCRIBBR. Scriber, okay? You will come here. Scriber, you go to citing, you say citation generation. Okay? In citing generation, they have different methods. So if you want to change the method, you just click here, okay? Then it will ask you which method. Normally, most recommended is APA, but in UTM we use Harvard. Okay? Save changes. Then you just go to this one, search article, web page, book, article, everything you can put that cite here. Most of the things you can cite here. Okay, now this is the article, I like it. So I can use it, copy. Then I go here, I paste here, and then the cite.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
Then it give you everything. This is a full reference entry, copy to clipboard, you can copy here. See, already I have done. Then I say that blended learning is useful for early learners, but not supportive if you do not have access to technology. Okay, now this is the statement I want to cite. So I have to use C. Parenthetical, I can use this way because now I have used two entry. So it is coming as A and B. So first I need to do what? I should delete this one. This one. What was the name? Oliver, no? Because I have used two. Delete. Because two entry I have copied paste. So it's coming as A and B. Now, wow, it's completely deleted. Wrong.
Dr. Waka, can you use Mendeley too?
Sorry. Okay, this one I have to use. Okay, now parenthetical, I have to use like this. Okay. Oh, sorry. Parenthetical, I have to copy like this. Click, I can put it like this. And if I want to use according to, then I want to use this one, then I copy like this, narrative, and use this. Okay. Clear?
That one is for the narrative.
One is
To
narrative, one
put
is
in
parenthetical.
the,
According to you, how you are writing, okay?
or that one to put in the writing.
Up to you, how you write. You can write in up to you. Like you can write parenthetical. There are also other options, but normally this is when most common in text to citations. Okay.
Okay.
And what you need to do now, this is something interesting. Like for example, these are the journals. Now there are some paper references, for example, blended learning. Okay, and there is something, not journal. This is something like the website. Okay. Normally it is difficult to manage. Even if you're using Mendeley, you don't know how to use it. The Scriber is very good for this type of references. Now I put it here, this website. It will give me all information. See, author name is Gupta. See, Disha Gupta. Year 2022. Paper, and this is not a same style. Blended learning, title name, title, and then source. This is very easy because copy the websites, blogs, such kind of documents you cannot directly download from journal. So it is the best way that you should you should Scriber. So you should use this way. Otherwise, another method is Scholar. You can use it same way. Like for example, this is the title you are using. Okay. Now this article, you have two options. Like see, cite. Okay, you can use this one, Harvard C. And another option is that you can download it directly from EndNote, reference work, reference management. I think Mendeley use it BibTeX. Because I do not use Mendeley personally, I use EndNote. So I have my personal EndNote, so I'm more comfortable with EndNote. But you can use any software, but UTM and Mendeley is available. Okay. So this is the referencing style you have to follow. So that's the end of our lecture. Any question?
No.
Doctor, you mentioned about the assignment. You're going to share the assignment?
Tomorrow I will share with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any other question?
Doctor, sorry, can we get it like this citation from